and welcome to Bethan's Kitchen and Garden. Today I'm in my neighbour's garden as I'm about to harvest the last of the potatoes I've grown over here because they are actually jumping out of the ground. I'll show you in a minute. But what I wanted to do today was, in view of #shedwars, I wanted to share what I found has worked this season and what I found hasn't worked this season. So I'll just I'll take you around both gardens and I'll sort of talk you through the highs and the lows and sort of what hasn't got going and what has. But first of all, I'll show you these potatoes and then we'll go on our tour. This is the last of the Sapo Mira patch. Well, I say it's the last. This is the only Sapo Mira patch. And the potatoes are actually jumping out of the ground. So I guess I better get them out sharpish. And here's the harvest. These are the Sapo Miras. And they've grown to a good size. A bit of green on this one because that's one of the ones that was escaping from the ground, but there's some other good ones here. That one's got a bit of a hole in it, but it's nice that they've all grown to a good size for a main potato. And I've also just harvested some beetroot there. And in my neighbour's garden it's all looking a bit sparse at the moment because I've just cleared it from the potatoes. And here I've planted a row of carrots, and then on the top I planted some radish. So the idea was that I would be able to see where the carrots and the radish were, and the radish have sprung up, and actually so have the carrots. We're over by the runner beans now, and there's a few on here that are ready for harvesting. But I have to say the runner beans have been a bit disappointing this year. They just seem to not have got going really. I'm not sure why. I never have like an abundance of beans any year really, but they have been better than this in previous years. But we are getting a little bit off there, so I can't complain, can I? In regards to my courgette plant, the fruits are growing on there, but I normally have a much bigger glut than I have this year. I've got 5 courgette plants. This one is really struggling and I don't know why, but there are some fruits forming on there now. And the other 3, which I'll put a photo on now, they have not done very good at all. Because, you know, with courgettes you kind of have so many of them, you're not really sure what to do with them, and I just haven't had that this year. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because I grew the other 3 in a border with other flowers, which I kind of did on purpose because I did want to control the amount of fruits we had, so I didn't have like such a huge glut. But for 5 courgette plants I would be expecting more than I've got. So overall that's been a bit disappointing so far. Let's go and have a look at something else. If we head into the jungle, that is the greenhouse. There are lots of Cape gooseberries growing on these plants, which is really great because what they have done is they've kind of drowned out the melon plants that are growing in the back. So there is one melon there and there's one melon somewhere else, but for 5 melon plants those are the only fruits I can see at the moment. So that's not been great. That's a learning curve for me for next year, to not grow so many physalis in front of melons. My cucumber plants, they are growing back, and we have had a couple of cucumbers from them, and they have got small ones growing on there now, so that is good. Follow that bee, wherever it may go. And similarly My cucumber plants at the back, well, these are gherkin plants. They are doing well, but not as well as some other years. So I'll have to think about where I'm going to plant my melons and cucumbers next year, and not overcrowd the greenhouse, which is really hard to not do because you just want to cram as much in as you can. But the tomato plants are doing well. So I'm going to do a good harvest of tomatoes in here today to take home, well, I say home, to take to my parents when we visit for the week tomorrow. They are doing really well. And down here, where is it? I do have a couple of aubergines. Oh. Ready for picking. That one's not so ready, but there's a couple around. You kind of have to go hunting a bit, but that's really good. That's very encouraging. Sorry, got distracted by the children then. So I'm going to do a harvest and then I'll take you into my garden and I'll talk you through some of the things that are doing really well. This raspberry and blueberry bed is a tale of two halves. The raspberries are doing really, really well. We've had quite a few of them already. These are ready for harvesting, but I'll harvest them tomorrow morning just before we head off to my mum, because they'll be as fresh as they can be then. And there's loads and loads on here, and this is the first year of these plants as well, so I wasn't expecting anywhere near them. And next year or over the winter, I just need to come up with an idea to string them up. There's some more there, so we'll have loads off there for tomorrow for the journey down and to give to my mum. And then these blueberries have not done very well at all, really. They haven't grown very big. They're very nice to eat, but they're just so small that I know blueberries are small, but you know, they're smaller than you would expect. Here's one raspberry in my hand, so that's they're not all this big, but that is most of them are that size, which is great. My trailer bed with the cabbages and lettuce, the intercropping has been really good with the lettuce. It's grown really well in this bed, but I have had a bit of a mishap with two of the cabbages. There's one there and one there, and I'm not really sure what happened with the cabbages, because they were grown really well and then all of a sudden the one in the middle just drooped, and then the next day the other one just drooped. And when I went to have a look to see if there was any insects or anything on there, I just gave it a gentle tug and it came out in my hand, so there was no roots left on there at all. So I've taken a photo, as you can see, and I'm still none the wiser. I've looked in my books and it's not clubroot, and there was no little insects eating away at the roots, so I'm really bamboozled. And the lettuces either side are doing really fine, so yeah, I don't know what that is. Any suggestions, please let me know. On the bed just below the trailer bed, this hasn't done very well throughout the year, really. I had a good crop of peas here at the very start, and then I put fennel here, which bolted, and I've put pak choi here, which is also bolting. It's only that really one in the middle that's sort of not bolting, so that's another disappointment. We're in the back garden now, and I am really pleased with the germination on these carrots, which I sowed 10 days ago. I just cannot believe it, after the trouble I had with the parsnips, trying to get my parsnips to germinate. And we have got a few now, so we will have a taste of parsnips this winter, but it won't be as many as I was hoping for. And the Norfolk carrots in here have also come through, because we have had deluge of rain over the past few days, and these are the Nance carrots. They've also come through. So these are the parsnips that I planted in the pots as well, when I was doing my parsnip chitting video. So I've got a bit of space left in this one, which I'm thinking I'll plant some muley in. And then if we come over to the purple sprouting broccoli bed, that has now flown away. The sprouts are not doing as well, but that's because I've planted them out later, and I had poor germination with my sprouts, whereas my purple sprouting broccoli, which I interplanted with lettuces, that bed is doing really well. And I just picked some lettuce earlier to take with me and to leave some for my husband as well. That's probably the best sort of gem lettuce I've ever grown, really. These pots, these haven't been hugely successful. The pak choi's gone in there, but the oca seems to be growing okay. So we'll have to see come the autumn if there's any good tubers in the oca, and the leeks have done well too. And my blackberry hasn't really got going yet either. And I wanted to bring you down to here to show you the butternut squash that's growing in this pot. This is a bush variety, and I was kind of expecting that sort of variety to grow on this climbing one, and then the bush variety to be that shape. But they are beginning to get going now, these squashes. Finally, they've been a bit in the doldrums. And I also wanted to show you this big pumpkin here. It is called 100 weight, and it was looking lovely until we had a deluge about, I don't know, for a whole week. We just had rain, and it's caused the skin to crack. That it hasn't gone through to the flesh, but the skin is cracked, which is a shame because it was looking lovely. And I have to say, with those 100 weight pumpkins, they really are a sort of like, don't judge on appearances, because they look horrendous. They're all like warty and gnarled and not very nice at all. But I managed to grow one last year, and I thought, oh, I'll give it a try. And it was delicious. It was so sweet and juicy. And then I grew the like traditional orange pumpkins that you carve at Halloween, and they were really dry inside. I had like 6 of them, and they were dreadful. I couldn't eat them, they were too dry. But I think the chickens had them in the end, or I put them out for the wildlife. And let's have a look at something else, and then I think that'll be it for this, because this is going on for ages now. In amongst the sweet corn and pumpkins, we have another 100 weight there and a crown prince there. So I'm very excited to try the crown prince. And the sweet corn isn't looking too bad either. I think they're probably about ready for harvesting. My Christmas potatoes are showing through as well. They were planted the same day as the carrots, so I'm very pleased to see something growing so soon with them. And this is the last thing I wanted to show you. These are sort of mini peppers that I didn't treat very well at all, because I put them in hanging baskets, because I was going to hang them along this rail here. I love. Yeah. And I never got around to fixing the hooks for them to hang on, and then the hanging baskets they weren't really holding the water, as is the trouble with hanging baskets. I was watering them and the water was just seeping out of it, so that really wasn't very good. So I ended up transplanting them about 3 weeks ago into the pots they're in now, and they have flourished and there is a fair amount of peppers on them. But if I'd have treated them better in the beginning, then we probably would have had a harvest sooner and for longer. So I'll know what not to do next year. Yeah, so there are loads and loads of flowers and fruit forming on these, and they are picnic size ones, you know, for your lunchbox. So I will be growing them again. This one is a really good, decent sized red one, and this one has got blossom end rot because I was feeding them, but the feed was just running through the basket. So that's a good lesson learned for next year, to put them straight into pots. These are 5 litre pots. I'll probably put them into 10 litre pots next year. There's probably loads more I could show you. Loads of things that I've done wrong this year, loads of things that I've done right this year, loads of things that I've sown too late and haven't germinated, like the parsnips, and things like the carrots that I've probably just sown on the cusp. I don't know how well they will grow for the winter, but hopefully we'll have some carrots for the winter. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at how things are growing in the garden. I'll just show you the harvest I've had from around the garden now, which I'm going to take to my mum's, and then that will be it for today. So thank you very much for watching, liking and subscribing if you have done so, and well, thank you for watching if you haven't, and I hope you're all well and take care, and hopefully I'll catch you on the next vlog. All I can say about that is lovely job.